just giving money to their buddies.
You want to abolish the Federal Reserve?
Of course. I don't think that private institutions should have control over a nation's currency.
We need a manufacturing base, and then our economy will take off like a rocket again.
So it's nice. We got some press coverage from the Waterbury Observer and from
Naugatuck Patch.
the Naugatuck Patch.
The history of the Naugatuck River.
History of the Naugatuck River in glass and quartz.
Stop by the Historical Society, give it a look.
Yeah, that's probably something they would want. Look at that.
Look at the...
From a factory, most likely.
That's an insulator. There has a name on it. If you dry it out, there's a name on it, Roswell or something.
Incredible.
If you want, whatever.
Yeah, sure.
Keep making it go.
Oh, you got that river glass.
River glass.
Yeah. Look at this thing. Look at this guy. Remarkable wildlife, I'm telling you. And it's unfortunate we were going to scare the osprey. Is he gone? Yeah, he's gone. But it needs to be done. You know, you just got to bite the bullet. What happened when I was cleaning intensely in this area, this whole about a half a mile, and as far up as Howard Johnson's as well. It's about a mile away. But what happened was I didn't see the wildlife a little bit. I saw it a little bit. I didn't know, but I was scaring it away. But now, Sandra and I come down here in the evening or in the morning with coffee, or and with a video camera and Native American flute, which we learned to play, and just it's I guess the way to describe it is what happens with Sandra. Hardly ever a day goes by when we're ever down here in the evening. She looks up and she's got her camera and she goes, "This is absolutely beautiful."
It is. It should be filled with people.
When the moon rises up above here, and we take or sets, and the sun rises, that kingfisher is on the old Beaver Lodge area. He's over. See that white branch that sticks out at an angle, and I've got him diving into the water. There's several of them here, and they're very territorial. Look, this scene is amazing right here.
Kevin, if people were interested in helping out, because look at this beautiful area, it's just there should be hundreds of people with their kids having fun, having picnics and barbecues and enjoying the real water instead of just being plugged up in their air-conditioned homes or whatever they're doing, or this enjoy nature. It's so close in Connecticut. We're so totally blessed with, there's so much beauty and nature, and it's ignored. It's ignored due to this, I guess, culture of the media. People are more interested in going to the movies on Sunday.
Yeah, I guess so. There is a little issue with that, or if you want to call it a problem, sure. What's happened here is it's a phenomenon and phenomenal. I see families out here, whether they're kayaking, bathing, or fishing. Boy Scouts from Camp Naugatuck, every Friday, 15 to 20 of them come down here to learn how to fly fish. And they come down as far as Seasonal Island, and they start up by the river kiosk that we put in. How to describe it? So this is the largest in-state river. And it was a landfill, and it was totally disrespected for hundreds of years. This was the conveyor belt to get everyone's trash and sewage to the ocean, to get it out of their backyard. So this was neglected. But what's remarkable about this? This is a very steep river. It drops about a foot a mile. It's got its own. That's unique compared to the Farmington and the Housatonic, because they're relatively flat. And so this cleans itself out pretty well. And what happens here is that when you clean, you would not have brought your dog down here 5 years ago.
Right.
There was blue tarps around rocks. This section of rocks right here and the next section up there were loaded with shopping carts and big barrels, huge, like industrial, kind of like boilers, if you will. And what happens is quite often the top erodes from them because the water comes up and down, and the part that's under the water and in the muck stays pretty solid. So the top wears right off. So you get this whole thing with, it's almost like a planter full of muck and stuff like that. And we dug them out.
Wow.
We didn't think they could come out. That's what's the amazing part. Didn't think it could go back to the thing where the island is full of plastic. Nobody would ever think of taking it off because they thought that the next day it was going to
happen again, right?
So but it didn't. Not that quickly.
Right.
It does, and I know how to stop that. There's things called trash racks. I've written extensively in the Waterbury Observer about that, where they've done it in California. And I've talked to people, some officials in some facilities out in California, just to get their take on these things. And they're unaware of, they're non-existent in the state of Connecticut.
Absolutely.
But they're going to be. Trust me, they're going to be. They're
Good.
going to be. And you don't have to put them in every storm drain. They're trash racks that you clean out. Well, they have a budget. Each city has a budget to clean the gutters and the storm drains. They don't know how much this is going to cost. It might not cost much more.
It might actually save them money.
You know, and you don't have, the trash won't make it to the river because it's coming through. It's not being thrown in the river.
Of course not. It's going to the sewers.
We have I'm sorry. What's your
Howard?
Howard. What you're going to find here is what we call roadkill. Under our feet, occasionally you see them. You've seen them. They're flat plastic bottles and flat cans. We call that roadkill. They didn't get flattened here.
Of
they
course
got
not. Flattened by a car in the street.
And it works its way into the storm drain. And the places are littered with them. And what's another remarkable thing, people ask me, what's the favorite thing? What was the most exciting thing you've taken out of this river? And you know what? We've taken a sawed-off shotgun, 12 payphones, 13 payphones. Actually, one was right here. It took Sandra and I half a day to drag it out of here, and it came from the Bristol Street Bridge. All other 12 were off. We recovered from the bridge. One made it right here. I don't know how it did. It's heavy.
Got a fender.
So with all those things,
truck tire,
bumpers, dashboards, you name it.
Sorted garbage.
Where you enter, you'll see plastic, but it's hard to see it because it's been there so long. And when you pick it up, do you know what happens? The water cleanses itself, and it starts to get sandy, and you just keep on plucking them. And all of a sudden, when you're walking along the shore, you can see this beautiful bottom. And my point is, the river heals itself. The buffer has created an environment for the wildlife to come back without
restraint. Right.
And that's what's amazing. On the 4th of July weekend, Sandra and I and a couple of our group were digging out a shopping cart, and a fisherman joined us. It took most of the weekend, but it had corroded. It was in there so long. There was a braided rug that was attached to it. The basket actually corroded, and it was part of the braided rug.
Wow.
So in just little pieces and all rust. So every time you moved and tried to tug on the braided rug, the rust would just float away. And then it was from a company called Foodland. I have the thing in the basket, the flap.
Yeah.
I have it by my fire pit. Foodland. I'm trying to find out how old it is. This was a Walgreens, and I collect all those things.
We are change.
We are change.
So when did Ron Paul talk about the FEMA thing? Yesterday?
Yeah, yesterday it hit the news.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that, buddy?
Well, I think that it's time that somebody said something about it. Somebody in power, they've devalued the dollar, and that's the only next logical step is to, have a riot like everybody else, to some extent.
Right, people are going to go wild.
People are going to go nuts. One thing I will say, the true revolutionaries are going to loot the bookstore, not the sneaker store.
That's right, exactly. The funny thing is that's it. The MIAC report is filtered down to local police, where people that are talking about liberty, freedom, and ending the Fed are potential terrorists, and they really have got these police, the majority of the younger ones especially, like this young officer that I ran into at Lake Compounds who was following me for buying fudge, and I guess I'm a threat. I could be trying to blow up a fudge shop.
Well, you want to get rid of the Fed and
exactly
not give them all our money and.
Right, so we're considered terrorists or potential terrorists pre-crime. I mean, this is the sign of a closing Stasi society. What are your thoughts?
About which topic?
Well, we're just talking about this rising police state, the FEMA camps. What are they going to do?
Yeah, I mean, to most people out here anyway, it doesn't take a genius to see that we're in a police state already. You know, most people think they're free because they don't do anything to test their freedom. But once you put a sign in your window or something, like my barber did, that said the IRS are the real terrorists, then the cops start coming around. When you come in your shop the next day, writing on your walls, don't stop putting up signs, they're threatening you. We're already in a police state, so Ron Paul's the only one that will call it out and say it. The rest of the people are just,
they're all benefiting from the police state.
Sure, they're getting paid off of it.
Yeah.
They created this incredible infrastructure, of police, with the FBI because of the gangsters and Prohibition. Yeah. They get rid of Prohibition, make the drugs illegal. And then the government, of course, we know, caught them hundreds of times selling drugs. They are the gangsters.
That's what
and we are the patriots to wake up the American people, and we are the terrorists. So it is totally Orwellian. And I don't even think George Orwell could have envisioned what's going on right now. And you're a member of the press. What is your opinions on this particular matter, or you have none?
No comment.
No comment. I figured as much, sir. I know you don't want to lose your job.
Did your paper get bailout money?
I don't know. I'm just a freelancer for the Naugatuck Patch, so...
okay.
That's all right. MSNBC got $200 million.
It's
That's a pretty hefty budget.
It's owned by AOL HuffPost, so...
Oh, it's a Huffington Post paper. Okay. They tell half the truth.
Yeah, so you can't put none
They actually give more truth than most people.
They do.
They really do.
Yeah. She's a flopper, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's flop.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time. Flip flop, flip flop, flip flop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
They're globalists. I mean,
I used to print Obama shirts.
Well, listen, there's a great example. I voted for Obama. I believe the hype. And then I woke up to the tyranny. What did that for you?
Obama deception.
Right. Putting it all down in a cohesive manner that this was planned and that he's no different than Bush, no different than Clinton, right?
I guess that's why I made that shirt,
Yeah. This is the shirt. Shawshank.
On the way.
That's right, we got another one coming. We are Change Connecticut.
Yep.
We must be the change we wish to see in the world.
That's it.
Hey, listen, man, if I hear banjo music, I'm running.
Why, you watched Deliverance last night?
We had the first or second river race in Connecticut. My daughter and her friend hid on the side and played that song.
That is fun.
And they're electric guitars.
That's very cool. Whoa.
I know what, we're coming back for this one. Let's go get stuff we can tackle out. Well, we moved a lot of shit out of the way. We got a lot of crap on. Come on, guys. Let's go over here, guys. Am I clear? Come on, guys. Bring the crowbar. Bring some shoulder.
Careful.
Alright guys, let's get this bad boy out here.
Tell me a little bit more about the Naugatuck River Revival.
Okay, well, it was formed a little over 4 years ago, if you don't mind me backing up.
No, go ahead.
About 4 years ago, and We have a board of directors, and I told you we applied for 501c3 status, and we've just been very active. We're active in the Naugatuck River Watershed Counselor. It's not an association, but it's a non-profit that works with Naugatuck River in Southbury and Woodbury, in that area. We're learning their ways of monitoring the health of their rivers by macroinvertebrates. So we joined their Streamwalkers committee and go to some of their meetings, and we're learning, and we want to take that back to the Naugatuck River to learn to monitor the health of this river through stuff like this. When you pick up these rocks, there's little bugs under here, and what you do is you sample these, and if you look closely, they start to move, and they're caddisflies and mayflies, and some of these bugs have certain tolerances for pollution. So when you find certain bugs that have very little tolerance or no tolerance to pollution, now hence, you know, the obvious conclusion that the water is getting that much cleaner.
So if people want to get involved and help, or in some way to learn more about what you're doing, how can they get in touch with your organization?
Okay. By Facebook, Naugatuck River Revival Group.com. That's probably the easiest way. There's also the email. Let's see, we got a couple of emails, but one of them is nrrg_sh@yahoo.com. My email is kznrrg@sbcglobal.com. Now, what I try to do and want to do is have people take ownership and show them how easy it is to do this. The key to it is the flow of the river, footwear, gloves, eyewear for splashing, and so on and so forth, and a pry bar and a shovel. And we love to take groups out, like not unlike your own. Chase Collegiate School scoured that area where we came out in 2 hours. They did more work than we could do in a couple of months.
That's it. If everybody just chips in a little bit of time, a couple of hours, everybody,
oh, it's amazing what
you can do.
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
All of us need to be reminded that the federal government did not create the states. The states created